Here's the spreadsheet we developed in the recorded segment for the first half of question 5 in Unit 17. We have a stock price that starts at $100 and changes by random percentages chosen in such a way that when the price is higher than $100 it tends to fall, and when it's lower than 100 it tends to rise. We'll look at a period of 10 years of investment, starting 2 years after the price is $100. This is following the information given in the question. We're going to compare a buying on the dip strategy with one in which we invest a lump sum of the same amount. Buying on the dips, the amount invested depends on the price change in the previous year. If the percentage change last year is negative, below zero, that means that the price fell. In this case, we'll consider this a buying opportunity, if we're buying on the dips, and buy $5,000 worth of stock. Otherwise, that is if the price goes up or stays the same, we won't buy anything at all. We'll format this as a dollar amount. And see how much we buy each year. Suppose we invest this much each year. What will happen to our account? We start out with $0. Each year, at the beginning of the year, we have what we had at the end of the previous year, plus any new amount of stock that we've just bought. At the end of any year, we have what we had at the beginning, altered by the change in the stock price during that year. Again, I'll, for simplicity, reformat this to a dollar amount with no decimal places, and then see what happens over the course of the 10 years. Here's a total investment of $20,000 that doesn't rise much at all, just to $20,490. As we hit F9, these numbers will change. But before we do, let's set up an equivalent investment, one that invests the same amount of money, but all at once at the beginning. To do that, we'll have to find out how much money is invested. Here's a running sum. The total amount invested so far is the amount we've invested up until this point, plus this year's investment. Adding all of the investments, we get the total amount invested at the bottom. Here's $30,000 invested, $5,000 a time for 6 different times, and here's $30,000 all at once. We copy the final amount up to the top so that this amount is the same as the total amounts here. And then we see how this lump sum investment would do over the same period of 10 years with the same percentage changes. Each year it simply changes according to the change in the stock price. Reformat to get rid of the decimal places, drag down, and now we have a fair comparison. In this case, buying on the dips yields $34,000, lump sum gives $35,000. Lump sum wins. In this case, however, buying on the dips wins. Hitting F9 again, we have a case in which buying on the dips wins by a substantial amount, about $6,000. Again, buying on the dips wins. Yet again, buying on the dips wins. If we hit F9 enough, we'll see the pattern. Sometimes, in this case, lump sum is a better choice, but generally speaking, buying on the dips is better. In question 1, prices tended to rise over time. If prices tend to rise over time, it's a good idea to get all of your money invested as quickly as possible to capitalize on all of the increases. On the other hand, if stocks are going to rise and fall in prices, and generally stay near one set amount, then we can't make much money by putting our money in all at once. We'll tend to have the same at the end as we had at the beginning. Buying on the dips gives us a chance to profit even in this difficult circumstance.